place with the double zeros of Dean Donahoe. And look here at Lenny LeGrand. He's moving up quickly through the field.
He diced right in between Preston Ford and Bill Kimmel Jr. and now approaches the top 5 as they come down the front straightaway. And suddenly Preston Ford has a problem and he pulls down to the infield.
Not a good sign when they drop off the pace that quickly. So Preston Ford coming to a rest down here at our figure 8 intersection. It's Joe Williamson Sr. out in front. Mechanica Racing and Copiers Plus late model. His son, Joe Williamson Jr. right behind him. A battle now for third between the LeGrand and Carroll Racing Machines.
Out of turn number 4, Larry Metters takes over the number 3 spot after getting around Shannon Carroll on the outside. Next up will be Keith Gardner, and he'll pull up side by side with Shannon Carroll for 5th, and they're on the back straightaway. Gardner takes over 4th. Shannon Carroll now runs 5th. He tries to come right back underneath Gardner, makes contact with Gardner's machine, and then stalls his Ford Thunderbird up in turn number 4. Suddenly gets it going again, but he's dropped back to near the tail of the field. It looks like the right front brake rotor's locked up on Shannon Carroll's machine as he heads off into turns 1 and 2.
Indeed, as that wheel was not moving at all, he was dragging it around the track. He should be able to lift it on around, it looks like. So we'll stay under green flag racing. There's 33 laps remaining in this 40-lap Winston Bush late model event. It's the Williamsons' son and father leading the way right now.
Battles at 3rd, and Keith Gardner's underneath Larry Metters, and they're nearly side by side at start-finish. They're back into turns 1 and 2, and Gardner's going for the number 3 spot on the backstretch.
Gardner's got just about to take it away as Metters is hung up to dry on the outside group as they round out through turns 3 and 4. Give the advantage to the Marley Ford and Subaru Fire Track out number 98 on Keith Gardner.
Bill Kimmel Jr. rides 5th on the field, then Dean Donahoe running 6th. Going 7th is Buddy Fannon, tonight's fastest qualifier. Lenny LeGrand runs 8th. Going 9th, Jim Bartley, and rounding out the top 10, Chuck Winders.
On back in the field, it's Alan Williams, Brian Long, Bill Johnson, and Todd Robinson rounding out your top 10 or 15 cars as they come back to the start-finish line. We're going to make it 30, make it 29 laps now remaining. It's Joe Williamson Sr. out in front of a 3-car freight train. It's Williamson, and Gardner down the back stretch.
We'll make Kimmel the 4th place car now as he makes his maneuver around the inside of Larry Metters. Now Dean Donahoe tries to move into the number 5 position as he pulls up side by side with Larry Metters. Larry's not having much luck on the outside lane, and it looks like the inside lane, that freight train is motoring past on the inside of Larry Metters.
The number 7 of Buddy Fannon sitting patiently in 7th position now, watching that battle between Donahoe and Metters unfold before him. He would like to find a way around those two undoubtedly and start working his way towards the front, because an extra $1,400 in the pay pack tonight would be a nice extra bonus indeed.
Joe Williamson Sr. clicks off another lap and shovels the field back down into turns 1 and 2 with 26 laps remaining. Joe Williamson Jr. Jr. is at 2nd. And then it's Keith Gardner going 3rd. Gardner has thoughts of passing Joe Jr. on the outside. He'll take a look outside, tucks back in line, then going down into turns 1 and 2, he brings that 94 Thunderbird to the outside of Joe Williamson Jr. No dice, he'll drop back in line as the field heads back into turns 3 and 4.
That battle for 5th, as we were describing it earlier, was won by Donahoe as he picked up that position. Buddy Fannon still on the round, the Larry Metters machine as well, to take over 6 now. It's a battle for 2nd with Gardner and Williamson as they head into turns 3 and 4.
Joe Williamson Sr., the race leader, but Keith Gardner up along the outside of his son, Joe Williamson Jr., and Gardner picks off 2nd place now as they move back into turns 1 and 2. And Bill Kimmel Jr. is also rolling up to the outside of Joe Williamson Jr. as they move down the back straightaway. Dean Donahoe is right there, and you can lay a blanket over the top 6 cars as they move out of turn number 4.
Indeed you can as they scream off around turns 1 and 2. Williamson Sr. actually with the advantage at the moment. He has had no competition, so that's allowed him clean open track, and he has gone uncontested. But how much longer will that last? Is that Marley Ford of Keith Gardner's is knocking on his back window.
Joe Williamson Jr. is having problems getting off the turns. The car cocks a little bit sideways, and it looks like he's not getting the traction that he needs, and this has allowed Keith Gardner to get around and Bill Kimmel Jr. to challenge. They're back into turns 1 and 2. Todd Robinson spun down to the infield momentarily, but quickly rejoined the lineup, but he's right at the tail of the lead lap. The top 6 cars are back into turns 3 and 4, and got to give Buddy Fannon a call as he makes it 3 abreast on the front straightaway. Whoa, the door closed on him there, had to get out of the gas. He'll back up into the number 6 spot.
Indeed, it was 3 wide with Donahoe, Fannon, and Kimmel. And Fannon got pinched in the middle. He'll drop back now into 6th place position. It's Donahoe and Kimmel battling side by side for that 4th place spot. Donahoe got the advantage for the moment, but now it's being shown as Kimmel, the leader on the 4th place spot that last time across.
Joe Williamson Sr., the race leader, followed by Keith Gardner, Joe Williamson Jr., Dean Donahoe going 4th, and then at 5th, it's Bill Kimmel Jr. Once again, Kimmel has a lot on the line here tonight. He needs to keep the momentum up to keep his standing going in the NASCAR Mid-America region. He came into tonight's racing program ranked number 1. He also had a very good chance of continuing that number 1 position last night when the Sportsman car was here. Unfortunately, he had motor problems during practice and didn't qualify all that good in a borrowed race car. Right now, he got hung up behind some slower traffic and has dropped back some, and Bill Kimmel Jr. runs at 6th as they cross the start-finish line with 15 laps remaining.
Right now, a battle for 4th shaping up as Buddy Fannon moves to the inside of Dean Donahoe. It's Donahoe on the outside, Fannon to the inside through turns 3 and 4. Williamson Jr. right in front of him, holding down 3rd place position. Donahoe gets strong to the gas and wheels around now to pull it up even with the number 53 machine.
Well, that seems to have been the way around Joe Williamson Jr., around the outside, but Dean Donahoe is certainly finding that quite a challenge right now. Joe Williamson Jr. Giving him plenty of room to race out there. Donahoe's trying to take advantage of it. They're nearly door handle to door handle at the end of the back straightaway, and we got trouble down at turn number 4. Looks like it's Brian Baum's number 74 machine, and that'll bring the field under caution with 13 laps remaining.
Indeed, as Baum whips his car around, setting just enough on the track to set up a possible bad situation. So we'll bring the caution out here with 12 laps remaining. Right now, it's been all Joe Williamson Sr., but will that change when we get back to green flag racing? He'll have Keith Gardner. Keith Gardner when we come back to racing.
Keith Gardner seems to make magic happen in late model competition here at Louisville Speedway. We'll find out in the next 12 laps. Green flag's out, and they're back into turns 1 and 2 with Joe Williamson Sr., the race leader. Out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway, Gardner taps the brakes, tucks in line, and follows Joe Williamson Sr. into turns 3 and 4 with Joe Jr. riding 3rd. At 4th, it's Dean Donahoe, and then Buddy Fannon, who has that $1,400 bonus on the line tonight. I imagine the battle will be at 4th place here in about a lap as Buddy Fannon glides up along the inside of Dean Donahoe. Donahoe's not where he wants to be on the outside.
Undoubtedly having a bit of a time holding on to that outside groove. And what with Joe Williamson Jr. on the inside holding his line so well. 10 laps remaining. It's Williamson Jr. and Donahoe battling for 3rd place now. Well, Donahoe sweeping up the banking just a bit. Also, Williamson Jr. getting a little high. For a second, Buddy Fannon was going to tuck in underneath as well.
He had thoughts of it, and there was almost enough room for Fannon to get underneath to make it 3 abreast, but instead, Buddy's going to be a little patient. Now Joe Jr. takes Donahoe high down in turns 3 and 4. Both cars get into the outside retaining wall. Buddy Fannon will take over 3rd place. There's 8 laps remaining, and it looks like they may come back to the caution flag. Dean Donahoe, car number 00, and Joe Williamson Jr. took a wayward journey up in turn number 4 to the outside retaining wall. I'm not sure what may have caused all that, but the yellow flag is out.
So quickly, he'll now be starting 3rd when we get this race back underway.
As Joe Williamson Jr. was battling along the inside of Dean Donahoe's car, suddenly Joe Jr.'s car it looked like maybe a suspension part or something broke in the car, and it started darting towards the outside of the racetrack. It carried Dean Donahoe's car up the banking with him. Donahoe's machine looks like it has some damage to the front. Joe Jr.'s also sustained some damage to the side, but here is the race leader. They got the restart. Gardner tapped the brakes and dropped underneath Joe Williamson Sr. dropped in behind him to follow him on into the 3rd and 4th turn. We'll find out if that's the same strategy. As they move out of turn number 4, David Geiger, our starter, drops the green flag, and they're off into turns 1 and 2. Out of the 2nd turn, it's Gardner hopping up to the outside. Not enough room to tuck in behind, so he'll have to remain on the outside of Joe Williamson Sr. Buddy Fannon's in 3rd place this time with a very fast race car here this evening.
Gardner not so big that time out of the restart. He is hanging right there with Joe Williamson Sr. In fact, he's going to pull it up almost even Steven down the back straightaway. Buddy Fannon got his nose stuck in there as well as he settles in behind the number 11 machine. It's going to be Williamson Sr. out in front lap. Gardner in second and Fannon in third with 5 laps remaining.
Gardner almost doesn't have a choice. He can't tap the brakes and drop in behind Joe Williamson Sr. because Buddy Fannon is right there on Williamson's back bumper. So Gardner is once again on the outside, continuing the duel with Joe Williamson Sr. side by side. He drops back a bit, but there's nowhere to go. He'll have to remain on the outside, and Buddy Fannon may take over second place if Gardner can't stay on the outside much longer.
Gardner's experienced enough that he knows his way around this track, whether it's on the inside or the outside. I think he can hold his own, possibly, but right now he's got his hands full as Buddy Fannon trying to wheel that Kentucky Engines racing machine on through there. As they come out of turn 4, there's 2 laps remaining, and still Williamson Sr. out in front.
Good run tonight for Lenny LeGrand. He's at 4th place, and Chuck Winters runs 5th. Bill Kimmel Jr. going 6th, 7th to Jim Bartley, 8th to Bill Johnson, 9th to Alan Williams Jr., and rounding out the top 10, Todd Robinson. The white flag's out, indicating 1 lap to go. Buddy Fannon has taken sole command of second. He'll hop to the outside of Joe Williamson Sr. on the back straightaway. Nearly side by side down into turns 3 and 4, but it's Joe Williamson Sr. with the advantage as they move out of turn number 4. Fannon comes to the outside, and it's going to be a very close finish there. As they cross the start-finish line, the entire grandstands were standing, and I couldn't see the finish line, so we may have to rely on the videotape to tell us who the winner was, but that was a close one.
Undoubtedly very close indeed. What you call your classic photo finish. As Buddy Fannon, if he did indeed pull out the win, he will claim that $1,400 from Right Way Grinding Saw and Tool, as that's where our clean sweep bonus stands this week. Buddy Fannon coming around and the crowd on their feet cheering him on. Hold on, guys.
The number 7 machine, sponsored by ABC Neon and Sign, as well as Joe Abel Trucking, Buck's Auto Service, and Kentucky Engine Rebuilders on a last lap maneuver around the outside of Joe Williamson Sr. Picked off Joe Williamson at the finish line by just a few inches to record the win. In addition to collecting the victory tonight, he also claims the $1,400 bonus from Right Way Grinding Saw and Tool tonight. So congratulations.